What is the meaning of life? Over the course of, it's probably been a month now, I've been trying to think of abstract questions I can ask to my YouTube and later answer myself and just basically come off as if I have the answers to everything. And boy, that has been a rough battle. The conclusion I've come to is that you just have to be okay with not knowing what the meaning of life is. While I was pondering this question over the last month, I got very frustrated, because in my mind, there's supposed to be an answer for everything. There's always a reason for why it's happening, which is crazy because that's also one of the reasons why I struggled with implementing religion in my life. While I was pondering this question, I was thinking to myself, if I can't think of a reason for why life is the way it is, what's the point of it? We work so hard in every facet of our life just to end up in the same place. I used to be one of those people who took so much pride in the fact that I didn't smoke or drink or just partake in the usual things that my peers did. But crazy enough, I saw a TikTok. It was a slideshow. It was like a cemetery. It was like a graveyard, and it said the people who decided to smoke and drink, and the people who didn't smoke and drink. Intrinsically, in the back of my head, I already knew this, but just seeing that really put shit into perspective. I've been questioning, like I'm going so hard in every facet of my life to better myself and to leave an impact on those that I care about and just to help people I don't know get better. But in the midst of all that, you're going to ask yourself, why, when we really physically end up all in the same place, in the dirt? It was grim. It was a grim thought process. So for me to combat this, I was pretty much just doing anything I can just to try to get an answer. I try to watch a whole bunch of philosophical movies. Watched a lot. I watched Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino, Donnie Darko, Scarface. Not too philosophical, but just love the movie. Why not watch it, right? Unfortunately, how I felt about the question of what is life, I still felt the same. Just no answer. It's nothing positive or negative, but the fact that I don't have an answer at all it irks me, because I'm typically known as the person who always has the answer to something, right? But now I have to be okay with not knowing. And maybe that's what life is, just being okay with uncertainty. I think it's like the same thing as religion. Out of every religion in the world, obviously the one you're brought up in, the one you know the most, obviously you're going to be like, yeah, that's the right religion. So we have faith in that, we die by that. And that's nothing wrong with that at all. But just to think that everybody else thinks that about their own religion is kind of crazy. It has my head spinning, because who am I to say that somebody else's religion is wrong? And then one day you're going to have to face the fact that you either pick the right religion or you pick the wrong one. And that's where faith comes in, I guess. Maybe what life is just a whole bunch of uncertainty. Because typically when you ask people about what life is, they'll tell you that you got to live it up to the fullest. But what does that even mean? My fullest life could be something completely different than somebody else's. My fullest is doing all that I can to make the most positive impact I have for people around me. I just want everybody to succeed because of me. I want that to be because of me. Somebody else's could be trying every substance in the world, illegal or legal, right? Just partying their ass off. That's not me. I feel like there's got to be a certain problem for me to have to believe that there's just one big answer to such a general question of what is life in the first place. Honestly, a question like this is what keeps me up. It keeps me going because every day I have a new possible answer as to what life is. Whenever I'm down in the dumps, whenever I'm happy, whenever I don't know what I am, one thing is for certain: death is guaranteed. And I'm kind of driving myself insane trying to figure out what the answer is before I die. Because that brings up another question that I used to have a lot, where it's like, are we living or are we slowly dying as we age? Of course, that answer is going to depend at what stage you are in your life. Because if we are currently breathing and at some point we do die, right? That's inevitable. Aren't we just slowly dying? And the healthy habits we do, like go to the gym and eat right, all that does is prolong the process, right? Which is good, but still slowly dying nonetheless. I was thinking about that. Like I'm at the gym, working my ass off, trying to get this great physique, trying to get this great body. For what? To last an extra 5 to 10 years more than anybody else. Eventually, we still end up in the same place. This video is my way with coming to terms with the fact that it's okay to not have clarity on things like this. Consider it like a heartbreak you never got closure on, right? Nobody knows what the meaning of life is. And if they do, then it's based on what happened in their upbringing and their past experiences. So it won't be the same as you. The only reason why I care about something like this so much, because this is the shit that used to keep me up at night. I would literally get insomnia trying to figure something like this out. And I would drive myself even crazier because I'm still at the same spot. I don't have an answer. Just thinking. All I can do is think. Maybe it's because I put too much pressure on myself for having an answer for everything. I guess that would be a flaw of mine. There has to be an answer though. Even now, when I'm coming to terms with the fact that I don't know what life is, I don't know what the meaning is, I'm still trying to plead because there has to be an answer somewhere. I'm 20 years old. Don't look it, I know, right? But maybe I'll have an answer at 40. So 20 years from now. And honestly, if I could tell time, if I could tell the future, somebody told me, hey, you would have the answer to what life is by that time. I wouldn't mind thugging it out until then. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe the meaning of life is to be the best person you can be and just try to figure out this question, right? This question has been around probably since the beginning of time. Still no answer. I mean, there's been answers, but who is anybody on this earth to say that those are the right answers, right? It sucks not knowing some shit like this because you're trying to find an answer to a question like this so you can show yourself that all the hard work that you've been putting in is for a reason. It's not just to satisfy people currently, even though we all end up in the grave someday, right? You have to be okay with not being okay. The fear that resides in all of us, I'm pretty sure, comes from the high levels of uncertainty. If I had to guess, it's difficult. You think about something your whole life and you get a different answer each time. It's like a test you didn't study for. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. It's so humbling too. The guy who usually has all the answers, the guy who knows the reason for everything, doesn't have an answer for something. There's not one book, not one TV show, not any pieces of media that can give me any direction as to one surefire answer as to what this thing is that we call life. You know what this feels like? Feels like a hamster running on a wheel, just running. No direction, just constantly running. And when he's tired, what does he do? He gets off that wheel, gets some water, he gets back on the wheel, and he keeps on running. No clear destination, just running until he eventually dies. That's what life feels like. And you have to be okay with that. I can give it meaning. I give a bunch of meaning to my life, you know, just with the little hobbies I do, with the jobs that I love to do, content creation. But the process is still the same as everybody else. I hate that. I don't know what the meaning of life is. Nowhere near close to an answer. All I can do is be better than yesterday and hope I find an answer before I pass on. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. And I have no idea. And that's okay. Because that's life.